I didn't stop. That was the problem. I kept going, not because I knew where I was headed, but because stopping felt uncomfortable. Going forward was familiar. It required no explanation. I woke up, did what needed to be done, and moved through the day on momentum. There was always something next, another task, another responsibility, another reason not to pause. And as long as I kept going, I didn't have to ask why. From the outside, it looked like progress, consistency, stability. People described me as disciplined, reliable, someone who didn't quit. I accepted that identity without questioning it. Quitting felt dangerous. Slowing down felt irresponsible. So I stayed in motion. Not intentional motion, just enough movement to avoid stillness. Stillness invites questions. Motion postpones them. As long as I was busy, nothing demanded answers. My days were full, but my direction was vague. I told myself I would reflect later, when things calmed down, when there was more space. Later became a convenient placeholder. I didn't feel lost. That's what confused me. Lost people are supposed to feel panicked, desperate, unsure. I felt functional. Functional is deceptive. It feels close enough to fulfillment that you stop looking for the difference. I knew how to move forward. I didn't know why I was moving at all. I followed routines that no longer required thought. Paths I had learned well enough to walk without looking up. At some point, effort turned into habit. Habit turned into identity. I didn't choose the direction anymore. I just maintained it. When questions appeared, they were quiet. They didn't interrupt my day. They didn't demand immediate answers. They showed up briefly, then disappeared beneath distraction. Why am I doing this? What am I moving toward? Those questions felt inconvenient. They didn't fit neatly into my schedule, so I ignored them. I told myself clarity would come from action, that if I kept moving, things would eventually make sense. But movement without reflection doesn't create clarity. It creates distance. Distance from intention, distance from choice. The faster I moved, the less I noticed where I was. I confused endurance with purpose. Endurance sounds admirable. It looks strong from the outside, but endurance without direction slowly drains meaning. I wasn't exhausted physically. I was exhausted in a quieter way. I felt the weight of repetition, the sameness of days that looked productive, but didn't feel deliberate. I had momentum, but no clear destination. And momentum is powerful. It carries you forward, even when you're no longer steering. I realized later that I had been afraid of stopping, not because stopping meant failure, but because stopping meant listening. Listening requires honesty, and honesty asks questions you can't answer with routine. What do I actually want now? What part of this life still feels true? Those questions didn't have immediate answers, so I kept going instead. Going felt safer than uncertainty. As long as I was moving, I could tell myself everything was fine. But fine isn't the same as aligned. I noticed how often I said yes automatically. How rarely I asked myself if I still believed in what I was doing. I had committed long ago, and commitment had turned into autopilot. I wasn't stuck. I was just unexamined. And that distinction matters. Being stuck implies inability. Being unexamined implies avoidance. I wasn't trapped by circumstances. I was carried by inertia. One day, the thought arrived quietly, not dramatically, not forcefully, just a simple realization. I have been moving for a long time without checking the map. That thought lingered. It didn't demand immediate change. It didn't offer solutions. It simply stayed. And once it was there, it followed me through my days, through routines, through conversations, through familiar motions. I saw how often I chose continuation over consideration, how rarely I paused long enough to feel my own direction. I understood then that movement isn't inherently good. It's only meaningful when it's connected to intention. Otherwise, it's just escape. I didn't stop everything. I didn't abandon my life. I didn't suddenly know the answers, but I allowed myself to slow down, to notice the questions I had been avoiding. I admitted that keeping going wasn't a virtue on its own. It had protected me from discomfort, but it had also protected me from understanding myself. I realized I didn't need to stop forever. I just needed to stop pretending that movement alone was enough. Asking why didn't weaken me. It clarified me. It reminded me that direction is something you choose, not something momentum decides for you. I had spent years moving efficiently in a direction I hadn't reevaluated. And that realization didn't come with panic. It came with relief. Because for the first time in a long while, I wasn't just going forward. I was paying attention. I didn't find immediate answers, but I stopped avoiding the questions. And that changed the way I moved. Not faster, not slower, more deliberately. I still keep going, but now I know why I'm asking myself to.